pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
After a couple of weeks off, it is time to get back to racing here tonight for the SCL Winston Cup Series presented by WJM Motorsports. Season 34 kicks off here tonight from the Daytona International Speedway. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Alongside me, new season, new broadcast partner, Michael Self, joining me in the booth here this season. Michael, it was a great season last year. We get to do the full season this year, a full field of 43 cars to open up this this season 34 at Daytona. It's going to be a wild night.
Yeah, I hope we get to see some good racing out of these guys. And
so we'll take a look here at what has been going on over the course of this past off season. Of course, we have the new sponsor with we have the new boy, it's the first race of the season for all of us, folks. I do apologize. We have the new sponsor with WJM Motorsports. They sponsored a couple of races last season. They've now decided to sponsor the whole entire series, so that's absolutely fantastic. Loving that, and a great boost for this series as well. Also, a ton of old faces, but even more new faces as we get into the season. That's always the fun part about getting into the season, see what has changed as compared to what has stayed the same.
Yeah. I know every league I've run in, these first couple of races end up being a filling out process. You know, you're trying to get to know all these new guys, and remember how some of the older guys race if you haven't raced with them for a couple of weeks or months.
And it has been about a month and a half, 2 months since this series has gone on. Now we have done the Winter Heat series as well, which featured some of these guys. So some of them are not as unfamiliar with each other as maybe most of the series is. Again, as we mentioned, 43 cars tonight, and for the super speedways running in the Gen 6 this season, that's going to create a whole different thing. It's going to be jumping back and forth between cars, jumping into the Gen 6 here, compared to what we're going to be seeing the rest of the season in the next gen cars. It's going to be a big difference in feel.
Yeah, and it's been a while since I've driven these cars, to be honest, but I remember they were a lot less stable than a lot of than the next gen cars in the draft, and that could be a potential issue for some of these guys if they haven't run this one in a while. They'll have to get used to it again. That's for sure.
We've got about less than a minute to go here before we get into the race session. Before we get into the qualifying session, I should say, Eric Schaus in the number 60 right now. He is running by himself, but he is the fastest of anyone thus far. A lot of drafting practice has been done over the course of this practice session. Great to start getting back into that rhythm again, getting close with these guys, because you're going to be around them all night.
Yeah, that is one of the keys. You gotta figure out how your car is gonna work around other cars here.
So we're flipping over into the qualifying session right now as we wait for our first contestant to go out on track. We have a couple of guys lining up on pit road, including the number 60 of Eric Schaus, and I believe he will be the first one to roll it off of pit road. Barrett Flo, Derek Gilray, Austin Call, all of these guys now starting to roll off of pit road for what will be the first qualifying attempt of the season. It'll be a 14-race season for these guys, starting here at Daytona and then ending just as it did last year at Atlanta. Provided a lot of great racing all throughout the season last year. And again, we'll be seeing these Gen 6 cars popping up, not just here at Daytona, but at Talladega on the 13th of March. So not the only time that we are going to be seeing these cars, as Eric Schaus comes off of turn number 4, getting set to begin his first lap of qualifying. Right up against that wall, trying to get as much momentum as possible here. Saw him doing that in practice, running up against that outside wall, trying to get as much speed into the car as you possibly can. And that's one thing that we're seeing with these cars as well, Michael, is going between the Gen 6 and the next gen cars. These cars have a lot bigger a rear spoiler on these cars, so it is interesting how these cars do feel a little bit less stable, provided how much rear downforce they should have.
Yeah, and like I said, if if they're not used to running this one as much, or they just been lately have just been running the next gen cars, it could be a bit of a sketchy first few laps for these guys as they figure out how the car's going to handle. And heck, some of them could have been coming off the running the 24 hours over this weekend, and even more difference with those cars to this one.
Eric Schaus sits on pole, quickly taken away by Todd Merkel after his second lap. Justin Lewis was the fastest after the first lap. See what he can do here. 7th quickest at the moment. He will not go quicker. So Todd Merkel right now has the pole position. As we take a look at number 38 of Zachary Archer in that M&M's machine. Archer coming off of turn 4. Better on the first half of the lap. We'll see what he can do here. He'll jump up to 8th quickest. Solid run for him as Joshua Yarborough works his way off of turn number 4 through the tri-oval, and he will cross the line in 15th position as last year's champion Maxwell Caldwell goes 10th quickest on his first qualifying attempt of the season. A couple of more guys coming through. See Andrew Miller in the 76 coming off of turn number 4 now. Miller 27th quickest at the moment. And Miller will jump up to 18th. So a good jump on that second lap as we'll see championship runner-up from last season, Braxton DeWeese. This will be his one and only qualifying lap. He's not going to get around for lap number 2. And DeWeese, one and only qualifying attempt, will put him up in 8th. So the number 8 to P8 on his first attempt is Chris Vanderplatz. Should have enough time to get around. If not, it's going to be close. 23rd quickest for the number 10 thus far. Boy, Michael, he's going to cut this one close.
Yep. Looks like he just made it.
And for Vanderplatz, he'll be slower on the second lap than he was on his first. So that will now send us to the grid here for tonight's race. And starting on pole will be the championship-winning car owner last season, Todd Merkel, with a time of 47.436. Starting alongside him will be Josh Tarrant-Hill in the number 21. Mike Peters and Eric Schaus will make up row number 2 with Barrett Flo and David Hanna in row 3. Derek Gilray and Braxton DeWeese will make up row number 4. Justin Lewis and Zachary Archer will sit in row number 5. Row 6 will see Michael Accord and Maxwell Caldwell. Austin Call and Joshua Dubé will make up row 7 with Andrew McKenzie and Ryan Farrell in row number 8. Row 9 will see Matthew Phaneuf and Joshua Yarborough with Chelsea Davis and Simon Poisson Carignan. If somebody in the chat, I saw somebody in the chat had mentioned one of them. Please let me know how you pronounce that name. Andrew Miller and Mark Brown will go in row 11. Chris Vanderplatz and Darrell Redford will make up row number 12. Row 13 should see William Mann and Joe Owen. Trevor Dalton and Michael Matter. Row 14 will see William Mann and Joe Owen. Daniel Cruz and Justin Sorrell will make up row number 15. Take a look at the rest of the qualifying grid here tonight. We're still waiting on some guys to grid up here, one of them being Todd Merkel. There's a number of guys deciding not to qualify, or at least put down a qualifying time. Take a look really quick at the weather conditions here for today's race. We're just after 1 p.m. in sim time. 71 degree ambient temperature, Michael. 118 degree track temperature to go along with a wind gusting at around 10 miles an hour. It's hot, slick, and windy conditions that these guys are going to be facing here tonight.
Yeah, and that'll pose a whole different set of challenges for them. In addition to these cars, and
taking a look at just waiting for a couple more guys here. Eric Schaus, Braxton DeWeese, Maxwell Caldwell, Joshua Yarborough, Benjamin Richards, the last remaining drivers to line up for the grid here tonight. It does appear to be a bit of an extended grid, I will say. Typically the grid would have gone by now. Seems like it's been about a 3.5 minute grid. But then again, when you've got 43 drivers here tonight, which is more than what we're used to seeing, honestly, for a Daytona season opener, it can take that extra minute or so to get everybody lined up and squared away.
Yeah, and it does sound like they're going through some drivers meeting stuff. So that could also be some of it.
We are almost ready to get this season underway. There's one driver left, or two drivers left. Adam Lowe has jumped out of his car towards the back of the grid. Lowe scheduled to start 35th here tonight. And then there's Benjamin Richards, who will be starting at the back of the grid, that we are waiting on to get this race underway. We spoke before about the schedule, and the schedule is going to look pretty similar to what we saw last season. Now, obviously, we weren't here for the first two races of season 33. Daytona and Auto Club will be races number 1 and 2 here this season. Twin Ring, Motegi, Iowa, Charlotte, Dover, Chicagoland will round out the first half of the season, open up the second half again at a super speedway. Talladega, Homestead, Gateway, Michigan, Wilkesboro, New Hampshire, and then Atlanta. Your schedule for this series, especially at the back half. Great race at Homestead last season. Great race at Gateway last season. Michigan as well. There were a lot of great races run here in this series last season, and to see them going back to a lot of these same places is a lot of fun, and I can't wait for this season to really get going.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of tracks you mentioned, a lot of the leagues I've seen don't really use that much, especially Twin Ring Motegi, is that one?
That will be the oval. That's our third race of the season. Should be not next Monday, but the one after.
Yeah, so that's a interesting little track, kind of modeled after Darlington, but still different. And should make for a good race too.
Absolutely, and we are finally about ready to go racing here as we are rolling off of pit road. Guys getting set to go, and Michael, I'm sure you've been in this situation a little bit more than I have. Not to say I don't race on the sim, but getting ready for a league race, getting ready for the first start of the season. What's going through your mind right now? It's a long way to go, 100 laps at Daytona. It's not going to be over in 10 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of it, I'm trying to, trying to figure out where all my teammates are going to be at, and which other drivers I might want to watch out for could help me. And then just remember, you can't win it on the first lap, but you definitely can lose it.
Absolutely, and there is a long way to go here tonight. 4 sets of tires these guys will have throughout the race, 100% fuel fill, so you don't have to worry about that. 1 fast repair, so you do get a mulligan to help you out a little bit as this race goes on. But the field now getting set to come off of turn number 4 for the first time of many, not just tonight, but of this season. Todd Merkel and Josh Tarrant-Hill lead the way into the restart zone. Green flag in the air, 100 laps from Daytona. Solid start, but boy, that second row on back on that outside line just did not go, leaving Josh Tarrant-Hill all by himself and somehow able to stay up alongside Todd Merkel at the front of this field.
And it'll be interesting to see how these guys, which lanes end up working the best for these guys. My experience, it kind of just depends on drivers and the day. It's not really like some of the other tracks where a dominant line is going to be the same, although generally it seems like the lower line is slightly more preferred.
A couple of guys towards the back of the field bailing out and heading towards the back. Saw a couple of cars poking out towards the inside there at the back of the field as Todd Merkel still leads away as we complete lap number 2 here of this race. Todd Merkel, Mike Peters, Eric Schaus, Josh Tarrant-Hill, Barrett Flo, your current top 5. Derek Gilray in that goodies machine, number 46, running in that 6th position, holding station right behind Barrett Flo, looking quite solid here, not trying to get too close to that 92 of Barrett Flo, too early.
Yeah, and to be seeing a lot of strategies to see which guys are going to be dropping into the back or just going to hang around for 30, 40 laps or so. And then, I have some guys who are definitely going to want to be at the front. I can tell you, nobody really wants to be in the middle. But especially if you find yourself in the middle of a 3 wide, that's definitely nerve-wracking for
Oh! Somebody got a big wiggle there in the back. That's the 31 of Matthew Phaneuf. In that Freightliner number 31 Ford, the 57 down in the grass, that's William Mann. So already getting a little bit squirrely, getting a little bit exciting here at Daytona, though. Everyone keeping it straight. Should split the pack up a little bit as we've got about the first, I would say 33 cars up in this first pack, being tailed by Braxton DeWeese. Todd Merkel, Mike Peters, Eric Schaus, Josh Tarrant-Hill still out in front as the caution comes out here towards the back of this field. That's the 30 of Tom Stevens. That will be the subject of caution number 1 here tonight. As we'll take a look and see what happened here with Stevens in the 30, down on the apron. This is in the second group. Oh, watch out. Oh, 24 of Chris Myers getting caught up in that as well. Looked to be just a case of him trying to straddle that apron, getting a little bit too low, maybe trying to get a little bit of air to the nose, and just caught that apron at the wrong time, sent him around.
Yeah, if you catch the apron, especially around in the corners here, it can really upset the car, and a lot of times it'll just kick you right back up the track. And we kind of saw what happened there. Just not a lot you can do save it, really.
Saw what else it can do to the cars around you. See the damage on the front of the 24 of Chris Myers. Garza Law Firm machine, 1 race win last season. That was at North Wilkesboro. Did not qualify here for tonight's race, which is why he started at the back, and showing why right there, why sometimes it's a good idea, but other times it's not. Around a big super speedway, you think the back is safe, but then something like that happens and just proves that there's really nowhere safe here.
I think about the only place safe is going to be about the 5th row up, just staying right there. Maybe stay in your motorhome, but
yeah, I would say that's pretty safe as well. Garage, pit box, that sounds about right.
If you're out by yourself, nobody else can wreck you.
True.
But you're also going to be slow.
Yep. Quite a bit slower, as a matter of fact. As Adam Lowe has not yet joined, as we see Tom Stevens has taken his fast repair. Matthew Phaneuf has come down pit road as well. He did not take a fast repair. He just elected to fix the damage on his own. We saw him catch the wall coming out of turn 4 on lap 4. So 31 now relegated to the back of the field. As once again, it will be Todd Merkel leading the way. Mike Peters, Eric Schaus, Josh Tarrant-Hill, and the 202 of David Hanna, one of the series debutants, or at least for from what I can remember from last season. Rounding out the top 5 here for the SCL Winston Cup Series, presented by WJM Motorsports. First of many races, cautions, incidents, laps here tonight.
Yeah, hopefully I won't see too many more cautions, but races like this, they either, seems like you either get one out of the way early and just everybody settles back down, or it just slowly descends into a caution fest.
It's about one of two ways that this race can go. The series has been quite good as far as a limited number of cautions. We didn't have too many in any given race last season. But again, a lot of new faces here tonight to start this season certainly does bring a completely different dynamic to a season, to a series. New guys racing around old guys. Sometimes it takes a minute before everything gets going as we get set to go back to green flag racing, speaking of getting going. As Merkel will lead them down once again. Green flag in the air. Schaus right on it. And once again, David Hannon at 202. Not really up on the gas on the inside line. He did it at the start of the race and now back again here in this one. Ooh. Just caught a big shunt there from Zachary Archer. Right on board with the 25. Now we jump on board with 38 of Archer. Big gaps forming here early.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm liking that paint job Archer's got on that 38 machine.
It's almost looking like one of those older in the urban schemes. Late 90s into 2000 when he was driving the M&M's number 36.
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing kind of just a mix between all of the various M&M's cars over the years.
So speaking of a big gap forming, we do have quite a gap forming right now, as something must have happened in the midfield that we did not see, because Austin Call, one, has a huge indentation in his back bumper, and now is about to get swallowed up by the next group. He is now 3 seconds off the lead pack, as there goes the 216. Getting pushed by the 99 and by the 143. And this group will now start to try to make a charge. Top 15 have broken away now to the tune of 3.2 seconds before you hit this big pack. We might have an incident in the back. Yes, we do. Caution coming out. Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Right before the start-finish line, that's Michael Matta. Greg Burchin, the number 51. Pretty severe crab walk there that he's got going on.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
Yeah, no, that's typically if you were gonna skew it out, it'd be the other way at a track like Charlotte, but
yeah. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say he's gonna have to use his fast repair on that one.
You know what? That might be the safest bet you make all season.
Yeah, but yeah, I was actually when that caution came in, I was actually looking back see what happened with Austin Call there, and it looked like they kind of just checked up in front of him, and he got
He got tagged in the back. Those accordion deals. We see what happened here. That was Mata and Vanderplat's getting into it. 57 involved there. There goes the 4 spinning. See if we can ride on board here with Michael Mata. This is just behind that group that we were just looking at.
Yeah, that's like a classic example of guys at the front of a pack getting turned and just nobody else. People have nowhere else to go.
199 of Justice Sorrell also catching a piece of it. Everything Birch is having to do to keep it straight. There's a lot of guys coming in, starting with the aforementioned Austin Call. Bryce DeWeese also got a pretty healthy shot to the bumper there as well. So try to see what happened on that restart that bottled everyone up. So we're watching. See if we can find the 18. There's Austin Call. The interstate battery's 18. So whatever happened didn't take place at the initial restart phase. Really going down to the bottom line, and yep, there's what happened there. And that wiggling, boy, with the 4 and the 76 up in the outside wall, that's what broke the pack up.
Yeah, and honestly, I think a lot of that just led to the caution. Even though, what, basically a lap and a half later.
Because I mean, instead of fighting to try to get a position, you're trying to hustle to get back to the main pack, and that does cause guys to do some things that were out of the normal realm from what they would do. So
Yeah,
you can see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just get frustrated and forget that there's still almost at the time almost 90 laps to go. We're just under 90.
Sometimes that fast repair does get in guys' heads. Not saying that that's the case there. But sometimes knowing that you have that mulligan in your back pocket tend to open the floodgates a little bit sooner than you normally would.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that in leagues I'm in, where one season we had the fast repair, and then they took it away, and still had some of the same incidents happen, but seem to be people a lot more cautious.
So completing caution number 2 here for tonight's race thus far. Green flag in the air. A great shot there from Todd Merkel. Getting out, choosing that outside line, getting to the race lead once again, getting himself clear coming out of the tri-oval. Right back down to the inside goes the number 2. Again, the winning car owner last year. Didn't win the championship, but winning car owner up at the front.
It's always nice to win, whether it's you driving or party feel. So either way, I'm sure he's claiming it.
He almost had a race win too. I know you weren't there for it, but that season finale at Atlanta last season, he was a lap down for a vast majority of the race and almost won the race. Getting back on the lead lap at about 15 laps to go and then just being in the right place at the right time. To push his way through side-by-side action between the 202, the 46, the 38's out there as well, as is the 229. That Ally machine. Justin Lewis in the 07 there as well. Joshua Yarborough, Michael Accord. Pack is still very, very much together. 33 cars in this pack. Michael Matta has taken his fast repair, as you would have expected. Still have a couple of other guys throughout this field, as it's starting to look a little bit like it has calmed down from the first couple of laps. Off the back of Barrett Flo. Pushed by Josh Tarrant Hill on that bottom line. Flo door to door with the 202 of Hannah. And it is quite an interesting run of things here, Michael, because we're used to seeing now with the Cup car and the way the aero package and the setup works on the next gen car, the outside line, if you can run it, definitely is more dominant. However, going back to these Gen 6s, it used to be the other way. The inside line, as we've come to know out of Daytona, appears to have the run.
Yeah. That's, I know we spoke about it a lot, but that's another one of those things where, these cars, it kind of feels like they draft just a whole lot different than the next gen cars, and the the cars just suck up to the other cars a little bit different, and all of that is just going to affect a lot of what you're doing.
Speaking of affecting what you're going to do, the driver behind you certainly does have an effect on what you're going to do out in front of you, as right now the 229 of Simon, I'm going to attempt this again, Poison Carrigan. I'm hoping that's right. Again, I apologize if somebody knows how to pronounce it in the chat. Please do let me know. Has a relative and a friendly behind him. That is Tommy Carrigan behind him. Certainly does help when you know you have somebody behind you that you can absolutely trust. We see somebody there blinking on the outside line. I believe that's the 38. Bit of a gap forming there on that bottom line, filled by Braxton DeWeese. Runner-up in the championship last season. with the 227 of Darrell Redford behind him. Jumping on board with Redford, this is about 15th, 16th position right now. And Michael, these guys certainly have calmed down a little bit. It's gone from early race jitters to let's just log some laps here.
Yeah, and as we say that, we see them darting around a lot more. Seems like that's always the case. That's one of the other things is as these guys run and your tires wear down. Tire wear isn't a huge factor here, but as the cars get lighter, burning off fuel, they behave a lot different. Hopefully it doesn't catch them off guard too bad, but sometimes it can.
9 of the 10 drivers running in the top 10 right now have not come down pit road in any way, shape, or form. The only one that has is Braxton DeWeese, who's currently running in 10th. He's the 5th car on that outside line. There he goes in that Greenberg number 8 machine. Trying to work his way forward. Darrell Redford as well. That was a big wiggle on the inside line there from Justin Lewis. That Miller High Life machine. Or that Miller Genuine Draft, pardon me, not High Life. As a non-drinker myself, I tend to not notice nor really care about the difference.
Yeah, I can't tell you either. About the only difference I can tell you is one paint scheme was driven by Bobby Allison and one was by Rusty Wallace.
That's about as far as I'll get as well. Apart from the color scheme on it, as the caution comes out, this one's going to be towards the back of the field. A couple of cars, we just saw them there. That is the 73 of Mark Brown down there on the inside. 216 there of Carrigan. This must have happened right in the midst of that second pack. So see what happened. This is also involving defending champion. Incident in front. Caldwell doing a great job there to avoid that, but we need to see the incident. Ooh, that's interesting. Something you don't see too often, especially in the current gen of cars, just snapping free on their own.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what happened to that.
It looked like to me you just lost it.
Yeah, looks.
Let's take this from Caldwell's perspective here. Sees the incident happening in front, and that's, Michael, that's certainly one advantage of being at the back of the group is jam on the brakes all you want. You don't have to worry about getting run over.
Yeah, only problem is you may lock it up and not have anywhere to go. Yeah, well, just kind of looked like maybe he got a little bit higher than he thought and just kind of got sucked up into the wall. And these bankings can be weird. It'll shoot you off or shoot you back down the banking. If you hit the wall at the top, and you go back up it if you're catch the apron, and either way you're gonna be right in the middle, and have 4 or 5 guys that are probably saying some 4-letter words we can't say.
Well, while we try to discern what those 4-letter words could be, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. In the middle of caution number 3, you're watching the season 34 opener here from Daytona International Speedway, the SCL Winston Cup Series, presented by WJM Motorsports. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the season 34 opener here at Daytona International Speedway, and you'll hopefully in the next hour and a half you will learn who wins the season opening race for season 34. But just during that break, you learned how to set up an overlay, so congratulations to all of you. As we're going back to green flag racing, Michael Matta, after not coming into pit during this most recent caution flag, out in front. Todd Merkel running in second. First time he's been that far back through the field here tonight. There's Matta holding firm on that bottom line. Merkel, Tarrant Hill, Gilray leading that outside line is going to have to let up a little bit as Todd Merkel jumps up to the outside line, Michael, to take that run away.
Sorry, I had a bit of an issue with acid reflux there for just a second.
You're good.
Yep.
As it will be Todd Merkel leading that lap from the high line. And I'll tell you what, that Ford Mustang, that number 2, just, it looks bad fast here tonight. It's only hasn't led. He's led every single green flag lap that we have run here tonight. It's incredible how dominant that car looks around a racetrack where anyone can look dominant.
Yeah, it looks kind of like he's going with the Dale Earnhardt restrictor plate strategy of stay up front and at least not unless you hit a bird or something coming out of turn 4, as Earnhardt did a couple of times, I think.
Blow a tire, spin, just, see Joshua Dubé on that outside line. The number 25 being pushed by Justin Lewis. That's one good thing about the pit stop cycle. Sometimes it does shuffle the field up a little bit, and that's exactly what we've seen. A couple of guys running more towards the middle of the pack have been thrust to the forefront. As that 25 of Dubé now leads. Todd Merkel starting to push away as well as the 30 comes out of pit road. You just saw the field flash by him.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, I've been on both ends of that one. It can be terrifying for both, because you're that one down there just coming out. You're trying to hold it, clenching your fists, as you're coming, if you're on the racing surface, you're trying so hard and hoping so much that they don't just pop right up in front of you.
We've seen that happen before, and it's not a fun sight. As Justin Lewis takes over the race lead. Front three starting to pull away, it looks like a little bit here. Justin Lewis, Todd Merkel, Derek Gilray pulling away from Michael Maddow a little bit as Zachary Archer switches from lane to lane in the 38. As the 25 starts to fall back, now falls to the inside line, leaving the 202 of David Hanna leading that outside line. Another newcomer up towards the front, Eddie Hatchie in that Exalta number 97 now, starting to work his way up, plus 23 up in 11th right now.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where it really doesn't matter as much where you start, but it does kind of look like they're at least in the front, just saddling down, just trying to take off some laps. There's really not a whole lot of reason to do anything else right now.
Still got quite a ways left to go here in this race as the number 17 of Michael Accord starting to work his way back forward again. Started in 11th. However, he did fall towards the back of the field. Now starting to work his way back up. Top 30 are in this group. Daniel Cruz right now the car at the back of the front group. Here is the second group led by Greg Birch in the number 51. Chris Myers, as we had mentioned, driving not only with Garza Law Firm, but for the WJM Motorsports team. The WJM Motorsports team is a team of professionals and amateur virtual drivers, builders, broadcasters, crew chiefs, spotters, painters, and mechanics, all striving to win in glorious one-sided fashion. They provide extensive exposure for sponsors within real world and over the virtual racing world with an emphasis on iRacing. Get your WJM merchandise and check out all of the drivers and partners on the team, as well as finding more information about how you and your company can get on board with a rapidly growing, highly competitive iRacing team at www.wjmmotorsports.com or send an email to bill@wjmmotorsports.com. Again, the website is wjmmotorsports.com, or you can email bill@wjmmotorsports.com. Bill, get ready for a lot of emails. Not sure who Bill is, but Bill certainly is going to have an inundation of emails coming up, especially if this 24 pulls out a win.
Yeah, nothing sells ad space like like winning, right?
Absolutely. Battle up at the front. Joshua Dubé starting to work his way back forward and has worked his way back forward officially with the push from Eric Schaus in the number 60. 202 and David Hanna working the outside line as well. Eddie Hadji following. Chris Vanderplatz, we know he is a user of a fast repair here tonight. Fifth car on the outside lane, Justin Sorrell. Haven't seen too much of that 199 here tonight thus far. Got caught up in that big incident coming out of turn 4 earlier on. Fighting his way back up, now up to 13th position. A very good run, Michael, for that 199 forming right now. Eric Schaus still trying to take advantage on that high line. Schaus will lead that lap, but again, Michael, it's not that dominating run on the outside line like what we're used to with the next gen cars.
Yeah, it seems like basically the classic stuff that happened with these older cars is you get like right up next to them and kind of just stalls out. And just...
Ooh, somebody caught the wall in the back there. I think that was Darrell Redford in the 227. That Hot Wheels machine. Ryan Farrell in the 143 following closely behind. Take a look back up at the front. Dubé still out in front.
Hey, just looking through a lot of these cars, a lot of just beautiful paint jobs these guys have.
It's quite nice to see the old Gen 6s break out every now and again, so you can see all those wonderful paint schemes that these guys have ran for so long before the next gens came out.
And have the number in the right place.
Yes. It is weird. Like, it's gotten to that point where with the next gen, it kind of looks normal, the number where it is. But even once you look at these cars, though, you don't even bat an eye. It's like, yeah, that's normal also. It's like, it's really weird how that dynamic has worked.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm still not a fan of the number placement. But whatever whatever NASCAR wants to do, I guess.
They're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's field once again still kind of settling down here. We're starting to get into that little bit of a lull here, which I think for a lot of these guys is going to be very welcome as we drive on board with Jack Karst, one of the newcomers to the series. Ooh, that was a big wiggle there by Farrell in the 143. As Farrell got up by that wall, just we saw earlier with the 216, almost dragged him around. Fortunately, he was able to keep it straight. A little bit of right front damage on that 143 at the moment, but doesn't appear to be hurting him too much. As we look on through the top 5 cars, the top 4 definitely, P5 somewhat leaning, have broken away scot-free. Farrell comes down pit road now. Just about halfway through here at Daytona, the season opener. There's an interesting combination running line astern with each other right now. On board with Maxwell Caldwell. Mentioned it a couple times tonight, but if you're just joining us, season 33 champion Maxwell Caldwell. Running in 14th, being pushed by the guy who pushed him all the way to the end of the season in that championship. Put up one heck of a fight. Did Braxton DeWeese in that number 8. Unfortunately came up a little bit short. Will certainly be looking to avenge that this season. That was the 14 of Tillman Moyer getting lapped. We are at this point just before halfway. Two drivers have called, well, one driver has DNF'd. Two did not start. Chelsea Davis is your one retirement so far in the 99. Adam Lowe again missed the grid, did not start. Oh, big wiggle out of Chris Vanderplat's there, fourth car on the outside line.
It does look like Farrell Ryan in the 143 did drop out as well.
He's done as well, so there's our second retirement of the night. Just got passed by a couple of drivers on his lap, so that's about as low as he'll go right now, is 40th. Adam Lowe again did not start, and Benjamin Richards did not even make grid here tonight in the 56. So two retirees, two did not start here this evening. Big push. Eddie Hadji up at the front. Pushed by Joe Owen in that number 5, and these two really having a good run up here at the front. There, boy, Owen's just pushing him out and away. What a run by the 97 and the 5.
And definitely see, what happens when you get broken up. Everybody comes back up on you really quick.
Accordion effect comes right back. It'll be Eddie Hadji leading at the halfway point. Chris Vanderplat's leading the outside line. Oh, contact between the 5 and the 97. Around they both go, and that is going to be a huge one up here at the front of the field. My goodness, caution is out as a good portion of this field taken out in that. So on board of Chris Vanderplat's. Right at the halfway point. Joe Owen just now getting his car righted. Looked like just a rough push. Saw how well it worked previously. Unfortunately, this time, though, it did not work nearly as well.
Yeah, it looks like he just didn't hit him square in the bumper, and that's always a really good way to just get hooked left or hooked right, just like that.
Fortunately for Hadji, it doesn't look like he got too much damage out of that. But Todd Merkel, Mark Brown, we know is already taken a fast repair. Already in the middle of the incident. Josh Tarrant Hill, Yarborough involved, Hannah there, Schaus involved. Both Simon and Tommy Carignan involved in that. Both of those two had taken fast repairs already. Michael Matta, you'll see here.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those where the list of those not involved is going to be a lot shorter.
Great job by Michael Matta doing what Maxwell Caldwell did on the last big one. Completely missed everything, locked it down, completely missed everything. Dustin Maggard in the 303, catching a little tiny piece of it. Nothing to be too concerned about for him. So we now show you from above. Just a stack up. Boy, genius move there by Michael Matta. Got right out of the way. Saw cars start to turn away, the wrecks start to happen, and he just bailed right out. Got under that yellow line and just said, nope, I don't think so. Right on board with him here. These cars spinning and instantly just down to the bottom, onto the brakes. Caldwell caught a little piece of this one. A bunch of guys getting little bits and pieces of this one. And with that, that will leave Jack Karst in the 05, your current race leader.
Yeah, you know, a lot of these, you know, if you're in the middle there, basically, you know, you've got to just pick a line and stick with it. And that's about all you can do.
Absolutely. So it'll be Jack Karst, Joshua Dubé, your first row. Justin Lewis and Zachary Archer will make up row 2. Todd Merkel with a fast repair. Maxwell Caldwell, no fast repair for him. 95 of Mike Peters coming back up here to the front. Couple of cars beaten up here. Trevor Dalton, that FedEx number 22 Toyota Camry. Dalton is under the mindset of, I am not taking my fast repair until I absolutely need it. And 22 is beaten up.
Yeah, that can be could end up being a great strategy, or you know, so long as you can hang around and you know you can get a caution late to be able to take that, should be fine.
Don't need to lead the pack right now. You just need to stick with it. As a green flag flies just beyond the halfway point here at Daytona. Jack Karst out in front. And once again, that outside line, boy, does not get a good restart. Chris Myers, the third car in the group, falls about 5 or 6 car lengths back off of the 38. Down right to the bottom goes Myers. Karst getting left alone on that bottom line. Oh, contact! That was Myers. Staying green. The track is clear. That is Mike Peters, as Peters tried to follow down to the inside line. Didn't realize the 05 was still there, sent them both spinning. Justin Lewis somehow has found himself in the race lead after this. So take a look and see what happened there between these two. Watch the black and white car on the outside line, tries to come to the inside, and ooh, those are two really hard hits that both of those drivers took.
Yeah, the two of the worst hits you can take with these things.
Compounded by the fact that because it was so far off the racing line, it stayed green.
Yeah, and it also looks like Peters found one of their spots in the wall that, for whatever reason, in the
Ready
sim
to throw you.
catches it and blows you up somewhere. And, I'll really end up having pretty much no choice but to tow a lot of the times there. Although it looks like he was able to make it back, and had a faster pair to burn. So
gets him back out on the track, at least to where he can fight a little bit later on here. Still have a little bit less than half of this race to go. 42 laps left. As Zachary Archer now gets out in front as around goes the 25. Joshua Dubé hits the inside, or may have kept from hitting the inside wall, but again, because it's so far off the racing line, we're staying green. So it appears to be an incident happening with Joshua Yarborough, as yep, there is, certainly. It's a lot of damage on the front of that 77, and the back as well.
Great job, Dubé, keeping it off. Keeping it off the wall there.
That's what happened at the back of the fields, and again, because they all fanned out away from the racetrack, there's no caution, and those that did stay on the racetrack were straight when they got it. And again here, this is what happened to the 25. Eventually, here we go. There's the 25 on the bottom, pushed by the 94. Boy, and just like what happened that caused the last caution, no, didn't hit anything. What caused the incident between the 97 and now the caution has come out. So I believe Mike Peters has had another problem. Here's the replay of this. Peters clipped the grass trying to get out of everybody's way. That wasn't the cause of the caution. Trying to see, did something maybe happen again with, that's the 077 of Caffrey. Spun around. I think this may potentially be an admin caution because there's been so much chaos that has happened over these last couple laps that just get everything calmed down and sorted out maybe.
Yeah, that does look like the admins threw that caution.
Michael Accord with no back bumper. Trevor Dalton still denying the fast repair. Matthew McMeekin in the 041. Maxwell Caldwell getting damage repair. Justin Lewis. That's a big break for Joshua Doobie, who had been left out to dry. Eric Schaus with the fast repair. Tillman Hoyer has been towards the back most of the night. So we have had just a heck of a last couple of laps here at Daytona. We'll catch our breath. We'll be right back. You're watching the Season 34 opener here from Daytona. Back here at the Daytona International Speedway, Season 34 opener here for the Sunday Night Cup League Winston Cup Series, presented by WJM Motorsports. As you saw there, we were showing a couple replay there of what happened to Austin Call coming off of pit road, and if you were looking at the tack in the second replay, whether or not it was a disconnect, a mental lapse, or if he's using an H pattern and ended up going the wrong way. Instead of shifting up into third, he shifted down into first, blew the engine, and I believe that will be the night for one Austin Call as Zachary Archer leads these guys down, and there is a huge bottleneck in the middle of this field once again. Dustin Maggard in the 303. Now 3 wide towards the back of this field. Looks like the 57 of William Mann. A couple of really fast guys that we've seen up towards the front all night in this group. The 94, the 8s in this group. There's the 07. The 60 is in here as well, and they're fanned out. Daniel Cruz coming down pit road in the 806. Boy. Well, if you want some racing, just look at the back of the field. Justin Sorrell leading the charge, or trying to lead the charge on the outside line. As Maxwell Caldwell gets out to the front of the group. David Hanna right now tails the lead pack. So the first 14 cars have gotten out to the front of this thing and have started to pull away, as it looks like the 227 of Darrell Redford is coming down pit road. If he was serving a penalty, he'll certainly be serving another one for speeding on entry.
I believe he was serving penalty. He did change lanes before the start-finish line, so
It did look like it. It was rather close. You did see that. So now the top 13 have broken away from the field. Tillman Hoyer leading the second group. Eddie Hadji, Michael Accord, Chris Vanderplatz, Chris Myers, Lee Campbell all in this group. First time we've spoken about Lee Campbell here tonight in that 014. Very quiet night for him. Started 39th, is up into 19th in that 014 Ford Mustang. And this second group is really catching this front group.
yeah. Honestly, if I could have a quiet race at Daytona for once, I think that'd be great.
Take the win.
Yeah.
There's a win right there. That's Andrew McKenzie in the 4 on the outside, leading that outside line. Derek Gilray there as well. Tommy Carignan in the 216. Joshua Dubé and Michael Matta also completing that outside line. Now the 303 of Dustin Maggard goes up as Matta goes down. Andrew McKenzie in that Ricky Carmichael throwback. Lap number 68 here from Talladega. From Daytona. Wow, from Daytona. I know where we are.
Well, they sort of look the same. Of course, I was thinking about if can you really have a throwback with a Monster Energy car? Because since they all look the same.
That's a very, very valid point right there. I think that's one for the chat to discuss. Can a Monster Energy stock car have a throwback scheme? That is an incredibly good point. The 041 gets lapped after coming off of pit road. A lot of damage on that 141. Gets sideswiped by the 38 of Zachary Archer. Other than that, everyone gets away from it clean. Tillman Hoyer starting to work his way back up through this field. Hoyer running on the bottom now. Barrett Flo just in front. Tillman Hoyer, his first time tonight, up in the top 10. that Budweiser number 14, I would say.
Yeah, another one we could add to lists of really good looking paint scheme. Yeah, I may not be a drinker, but all those Bud sponsored cars usually look pretty good.
Absolutely. Oh, contact between Barrett Flo and Todd Merkel. Saw Josh Tarrant-Hill take that inside line. I think Merkel was looking to follow. Didn't realize the 92 was there. Slight little contact between those two, but nothing too significant. Michael Accord with no back bumper. Rolling through this group. Now I'm not sure how many people would be too keen on bump drafting him at the moment. But just outside of 25 laps to go here at Daytona. It's a pretty nice place to be with as damaged a car as he has.
Yeah, I mean, looking through this field, I'm not sure how many of them have enough bumpers to even think about bump drafting.
It's true.
I'm not sure how well the damage models simulate bump drafting with dented bumpers, but honestly, I've never thought I wanted to try it. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys in the field here tonight are kind of in that same boat. And you can see the run. You had mentioned earlier in the broadcast tonight that the run is different between this car and the next gen car, and boy, you're seeing it right now. How much Michael Accord is gaining on the 14 on one of these runs, and how much he's having to let off to not run him over.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things I've seen with these cars. Yeah, the next gen cars seems like it, gets within about a car length and starts to stall out a little bit. At least with the older draft packages they had. I haven't really tried with the newer ones. But these cars almost just keep going right up to that back bumper. And I guess if you didn't let off, would keep going through the bumper.
McKenzie still out in front as the top three have broken free of side-by-side racing, I should say. McKenzie, Gilray, and Matta, your top three. Josh Tarrant-Hill leading the outside line. Qualified second in this race to the 21. He's at the pole sitter behind him. Zachary Archer running the fourth car on the inside line in fifth position. As this front pack of about 18 cars running quite nice up here at the front. Side-by-side racing, a lot of weaving around, a lot of close racing, but they've been very respectful here for the most part during this run. They've built a 6-second lead over the next group.
Yeah, that's one of those things. The better y'all race, you race with each other, without causing them too much problems, you can pull away, and so long as you don't get a big enough group to come back and catch them, you can take a couple of cars out of the running, and it doesn't look like they're coming up on some lap traffic, so that could be an issue, but it seems like most of them are getting out of the way.
Trying to evade under that yellow line where they can to make it safe, and that's exactly what we just saw the 141 do there. We saw the 227 do it earlier. As top 5 now breaking free.
I mean, looks like the the 141 there, or 041, is basically running a open wheel modified at this point.
See a couple of cars go by on the inside line that have looked very similar to that. Outside line, and Josh Tarrant Hill trying to do what he can to try to bring that outside line up along with him, but it's appearing as though that inside line is appearing somewhat content as we enter 21 laps to go here to just ride around and try to log some of these laps and hopefully caution will come out late enough, if a caution comes out at all, where these guys can really start to battle by themselves.
Yeah, I'm thinking that unless one of these guys in front of them on the bottom pops up into the top, that I don't see the 21 getting that top lane to go much further.
Todd Merkel just didn't quite pop up. He got popped up there, swung out a little bit wide coming out of turn 4. The 92 filled the hole, so out to the outside line goes Todd Merkel, whether he wanted to be there or not. As Andrew McKenzie, Darren Gilray, and Michael Mattis still in full control of this race. Now with the introduction of Todd Merkel up to that outside line, it is starting to lean back towards the outside line. That momentum, it really does matter who is in that line and which line has the momentum. And right now, that outside line's momentum just broke, starting to slide back, but they really do have something going up there with Merkel leading the line.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing is a lot of these guys, they have to check up a little bit more, and that just kills the momentum for whatever line they're in, and just breaks that draft just a little bit.
19 laps to go. Now we are expecting another pit stop here for a good portion of these guys. Everyone currently running in the top 8 right now, and 9 of the top 10 came into pit back on lap 52. In this front group, Tillman Hoyer, Michael Accord, Joshua Dubé, Trevor Dalton, and Chris Myers all came in on lap 60. So those guys should be close, but they might be able to make it here without a green-white-checkered finish. Everybody else, though, is going to have to come in again, and of course it's going to be in the fun portion of the race. The final 10 laps is when we're thinking they're going to come in.
Yeah, and that's would be one of the benefits of being further back in the line too, as you can save a lot more fuel. You know, that guy about 6th or 7th probably isn't getting much above half throttle the entire lap.
Right now, it's Chris Myers is the one that's at the back of the line. Matthew Phaneuf right in front of him. We've seen Phaneuf have his issues tonight. We've got a group of guys getting lapped now. 2:29.76. I believe the 51 was in that group as well. Yes, he is, and that bright green machine at the back on the very outside line as those guys coming through have really slimmed this line out. Instead of being about 5 or 6 cars on the outside line, we're now at about 2 or 3. There's a little bit of miscommunication there as the caution comes out. And I believe this one is going to be at the back of this front group. It is Matthew Phaneuf and Braxton DeWeese. Just talking about Matthew Phaneuf being in a very good spot as far as the pitch strategy goes. See what happened. That was, I think that might have been involved with the lap cars. He's getting involved in it as well. Oh, there's Braxton getting punted by the 777. That was in the second group. What in the world happened to Matthew Phaneuf? Oh, they're 3 wide. Just came up and clipped the 216. Might have been some net code in there as well, and here comes the second group piling in. So that will take the pitch strategy game out of it. As Andrew McKenzie leads the field down pit road. Now, what is interesting, Michael Matta and Zachary Archer were 2 of those guys that we'd mentioned before that came in on lap 52. They did not pit, at least right now, under this caution.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what kind of fuel mileage you get in these cars.
If I remember correctly, it was between 35 and 40 some odd laps. So for those guys to be out there, they're asking to go 48 laps on this tank of fuel and tires. Now, we have had a couple of cautions in between there, but not enough to save 8 laps of fuel. Matta and Archer also haven't necessarily been trying to conserve either. Saw Matta up towards the front for a lot of that run. I think with what he's trying to do right now by keeping the car as flat as he can keep it, he's thinking he can go the rest of the way, which would be quite a call on this car. Now, if I were especially Derek Gilray, if I were Gilray and Tarrant Hill, those are the first 2 guys that came out of pit road here after pitting on lap 85 here. Now, tell me if I'm wrong here, whether or not this is a good decision or not. I would do everything in my power to keep those 2 in front of me to run them out of gas.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would try and force them to run harder than they want to, but yeah, the only problem with that strategy of being right, is if you're right behind them, and they run out of gas, you may not have anywhere to go and just plow right into the back of them.
That's another very good point, and another reminder as to why I'm here and not down there. So it'll be Michael Matta and Zachary Archer out in front of this field. Again, they are on fuel watch. Eric Schaus came in on lap 62, so he's going to be close, but not as close as the two in front of him. Green flag out, 13 laps to go here at Daytona. Big wiggle out of both drivers on the front side. Both rows 1 and 2, both inside and out, gave a huge wiggle on that restart. Zachary Archer out in front. Derek Gilray getting pushed by Todd Merkel on the outside line. Michael Accord out there as well. And Accord has used his fast repair. Fresh car for that number 17.
Yeah, I mean, definitely would be the time to use it if you still got it left.
Oh, contact in the back. I saw that. There's the 014 of Lee Campbell. Boy, and now the 24 getting up close to him. Somehow they kept it straight. So he got a nice little hit in the left rear corner. Now that inside line starting to fall away. Gilray, Merkel, Accord get clear of the 38. 3 wide in the middle. That's Eric Schaus in the middle of that 3 wide. Maggard on the outside. Hoyer on the inside. Very, very close between the 14, the 60, and the 303. Andrew McKenzie starting to get pushed up into this as well. He's looking at the inside of that 3 wide. Oh, contact! He got pushed right up into the 25. And once again, because it's off the racing line, no caution.
Yeah, and I guess it looked like it was lucky that more people didn't get involved in that.
Absolutely. Good news for Andrew McKenzie is he stayed straight, and now the caution does come out. That will be what it is for. Take a look back and see. Boy, that was net code between the 25 and the 6. See what happened here. Braxton DeWeese. There's the net code that gets the 6 and the 25 sideways, and then the 25 just with nowhere to go. There's the contact. Oh, Maxwell Caldwell just barely escaping with that. As the caution gets called here inside of 10 laps to go here in the season opener once we get this race rolling again. Well, again, go ahead.
Yeah, and just pretty much all that strategy they had of, being calm and collected with everything, that's going to go out the window. I guess very cliche to say, but basically any plans they had completely changing. But because we'll be going to Green-white with about 7 to go, something like that.
7 or 6 to go. Mike Peters getting a lap back. You just saw him go past. 24th position from 2 laps down, now down to 1. Michael Matta and Zachary Archer still did not come into pit, and their thought process here, Michael, could possibly be, you know, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. As long as we're not a part of the caution, there's going to be a lot more of these coming, so we might not need to push the fuel as much as we thought.
Yeah.
And
I
of
mean,
course,
you can definitely just cut the engine off and coast it, save a lot of fuel under caution.
and of course, the key part to that plan is not being involved in one of the cautions that gets you taken out. So your top 5 right now: Derek Gilray, Todd Merkel, Michael Accord, Zachary Archer, and Eddie Hadji. Michael Matta, Barrett Flo, Josh Tarrant-Hill, Tillman Hoyer, and Eric Schaus. Your top 10, as we will go back to green with 7 laps to go here at Daytona. Next week, January 30th, same time, same place. 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Sim Racing Media. Auto Club Speedway for round number 2 of the SCL Winston Cup Series presented by WJM Motorsports.
And that's one of those tracks that usually produces pretty good racing.
And especially since we will be back in the next gen car next week. Again, the Gen 6 will only be used here at Daytona and at Talladega. The next gens the rest of the way. We saw how good the racing was in real life and last season at Auto Club Speedway, and I can't wait to get back there for race for the next round here next week.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame to me that they're planning on tearing up the Auto Club Speedway and going to a short track.
Well, if they do what they did last year, that they might put those plans on hold as we go back to green flag racing once again. Not a good start from Todd Merkel. That will allow Gilray to get up to the outside line. That's the word I was looking for. Archer there as well. Michael Accord clear, leaving Hadji and Flo battling side by side. A big jump to the outside and a bigger wiggle from the 17. Gets a nice little bump. Hadji slides to get out of the way. Everyone stays straight somehow, some way. That was about as interesting a straightaway as you possibly can have, as Accord jumps to the outside once again. Jumps right back down to that bottom line. Josh Tarrant-Hill getting a little bit of a push on that left rear corner from Eric Schaus.
Yeah, and these guys in the top 4 there, just loving seeing these guys dance around in their mirrors.
Michael Accord. Accord is doing a great job of bouncing from inside line to outside line, and now he's going to try to push Michael Matta on that high line. 3 wide, the 22 of Trevor Dalton trying to form a third lane. He's finally taken that fast repair.
And you say that 17 initially jumping out on the 16 and then hopping right down to the bottom, hanging the 16 car out to dry.
3 wide, several rows deep here. Eric Schaus trying to get pushed down in the middle, and he's going to get pushed down in the middle in a completely different way. Hadji goes over. Caution is out. Seven of Justin Lewis involved. We saw Eddie Hadji flying through the air. I mean, what else can you say, Michael, except for super speedway racing at the end of the race? That's what happens.
Yeah.
Dalton may have gotten a little loose, got down under that 60 and just swung right up into that left rear. Just right on board here with Eddie Hadji. Boy, up and over. He's going to get another hit that's going to send him here. Watch it there from Schaus again. And unfortunately for Hadji, a great race. Done and dusted on that moment. Here's Hadji again. From Eric Schaus. Just had no idea it was coming. Well, we were talking about it earlier. Just how many cars are going to be able to stay alive for the end of this, and we're getting our answer less and less, I think is the apt answer here.
Yeah. Except that we've got, you know, that helps all these guys that were, you know, towards the back in the on the lead lap. You know, that'll maybe give them another chance.
Gets Mike Peters back on the lead lap with that caution. This is also extending the life of the fuel tank for the 38 and the 16. We're going to try to make it 48 laps on this one tank of fuel. And going to be made even harder now as we are officially going to be going to a green-white-checkered finish. Michael, you have the number there. How many attempts do we have at this tonight?
Looks like it is just going to be one.
There we go. So this will be the last chance to get it rolling. Try to get a winner under green flag here at Daytona. Derek Gilray, you would think, is in the best position he could possibly be in, being the control car and the race leader. However, how much fuel is left in the fuel tank of that 38 behind him? Todd Merkel, who's had an incredibly fast car all night, has Michael Accord for help, and he has been very, very good in that number 17. And as we saw in the last run, very, very aggressive trying to get to the front. So we'll all come down to this green-white-checkered finish. Next flag will end the race. Cars filing their way out of turn number 4. Gilray, Merkel, Archer, Accord. With Hoyer and Flo behind. Getting into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. A great start from Gilray. Remember, Merkel can't come down until he crosses the start-finish line, and does.
I guess getting the starts can be kind of tricky because you don't want to get too far out in front. Because they can just blow by you when that happens.
Oh, that's contact. Spinning around goes the 16 off the nose of the 24. Staying green for the moment. The 10 now in it. There goes the 8. There goes the 24. Still staying straight. The 30. Caution is out. That will end the race. Derek Gilray will come to the line this time around. And the next time he crosses it, he will officially be the winner here at Daytona. That all started down the backstretch as Michael Matta trying to come down to the inside lane. The 24 wasn't letting it. And then everyone stacking up behind, triggering a wreck once they got into the corner, and that was that. What an open to this season here at Daytona, and I'm sure for Derek Gilray it is the perfect start to season 34. Todd Merkel will come home in second. Michael Accord will come home in third as they come through the tri-oval now for the final time here tonight. Derek Gilray wins here at Daytona.
Best part, as a leader, taking that last lap under caution, you don't have to worry about somebody passing you on coming out of the turn.
No contest. So Derek Gilray takes the win. We'll take a look now and see what happened on that last lap. Again, we'll see Michael Matta spinning through there, was trying to get to the inside line, just wasn't letting it happen. Like the 21 and the 10 might have gotten involved in something, and then that incident there between the 30 and the 24 was really what set it off. See what happens here. Yep, there's the 16 just trying to get down to the bottom. It's 21 turns the 10 into the outside wall. 777 and the 8 make contact as well. That's what does it. So for Derek Gilray, it is certainly a happy win for him. Season opening race at Daytona. Boy, oh boy, could not have gone any better for that 46.
Yeah, and hopefully these guys can continue putting on a good show to the rest of the season. Get the little kinks worked out. But
Absolutely.
great job from these guys.
43 cars, and they navigated it quite well here tonight. And we'll start off the interview process here with our race winner, Derek Gilray. Derek, Michael said it there after the race, and the best part about taking that checkered flag was knowing that it wasn't being contested. Congratulations. What a way to open up the season.
Thank you. This is my first race, my first win with any racing league, really. I've been part of SCL for 2 seasons now and also raced with Area 51. But generally, I'm a mid-pack guy, but I don't know that this season I'm just feeling the Super Speedway Gen 6s. And this race, I felt like I could just read the packs really well. So it all came together for me.
What was the biggest difference from last season, from what you can remember, running in the next gens to running in the Gen 6s here? What were the biggest differences, and what were the biggest hurdles you had to jump over today?
For me, it's just I'm not great at intermediates, and I'm kind of a new dad. Well, I have a 2 year, he's a 2 now, but I don't have the time to like watch YouTube and figure out the racing line and really study and learn the car. So usually the practice session is my time to learn the track, and that's the next gen just isn't really great for that. It takes a while to learn.
We head to Auto Club next. What are your thoughts going into season 2, knowing that you've already got that win in the bag? I'm sure that that means the momentum and the confidence is quite high.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to motivate me to learn the track a little bit more and spend that time to actually, put in a show with the next gen. So hopefully, I can actually stay up front, stay out of trouble. It seemed like that was the big issue in this race. A lot of people were very upset, especially leading into those final laps, just with the tangle that was happening near the back of the pack. And I think that's going to be the key the whole season, especially when we have these big fields, is just to stay out of the thick of it. And that means trying to keep up front, not hanging back.
All right. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
I guess just my wife for watching our son while I practice these races and run these races. It's very helpful to give me that time to put into this hobby.
Congratulations, bud. Your winner tonight, Derek Gilray.
Thank you.
All right, we'll now move to our second place finisher here tonight, Todd Merkel. Todd, a very, very fast car you had here tonight. Seemed like you could have put it wherever, and you seemed like you were one of the very few people that could make that outside line work.
Yeah, I cannot complain about the performance of this Ford Mustang tonight. Set fast time. Very happy about that. I don't usually qualify too well, so I was super happy there. And I did indeed run up front all night.
What was the biggest challenge coming through a race like this? Was it the 43 drivers? Was it the change from the next gen to the Gen 6? What would you say was the biggest challenge tonight?
I would say the challenge of the night would have been probably that it was the first race of the season. We had quite a few new faces in here, and not everybody is accustomed to running next to each other. You get to know these guys. You know who you maybe need to leave a little more room for. And it wasn't bad, generally speaking, though, for as many new people as we had.
We head to Auto Club next week, back in the next-gen car. What is your expectation? It's a big track, not quite as big as here, but it's going to require a little bit more strategy.
I really enjoy Auto Club quite a bit. I am very much looking forward to it. I am super happy to have started the season off with a pole, and I'll take a second all day. Derek Gilray did a fantastic job tonight. But if it weren't for that caution, I think me and Mike Accord were going to go by him on that last lap.
Well, unfortunately, you never got the chance to find that out. Anyone else you want to thank before we let you go?
Well, naturally, I want to thank the family business, Merkel Racing Engines, doing drag race, street race, marine stuff out of Long Island, New York. Can't do that without the support of that place. Liberty Transmissions, Ross Racing Pistons, and Driven Racing Oil. Those are the sponsors on my real race operation, and I like to run them here, too.
Now, this has nothing to do with the interview process. Where on Long Island?
About midway out on Long Island, Suffolk County, exit 55 on the Long Island Expressway.
I'm from Long Island, so I'm trying to picture where that's from. I'm from Babylon, so that's
It's in Hauppauge.
Yep, that's where. Yep, Hauppauge. There it was. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
Bud, congratulations, a second place finish, a great way to start a season, bud.
I will take it all day long. And Mike and Frank, thanks so much for doing such a fantastic broadcast. And I want to thank SCL for running a terrific, terrific league. And the Garza Law Firm, they're a great sponsor as well.
There you go. Our second place finisher tonight, Todd Merkel. Congratulations, bud.
See you soon.
Just back in Long Island not that long ago, and I had a feeling that I was trying to remember. I thought it was Hauppauge. I wasn't quite sure. But anyway, something that only about 2 people watching would probably get. We'll go now to our third place finisher, Michael Accord. Michael, you ran a lot of that race without a back bumper. You finally took the fast repair later on, and a very, very good finish for you here tonight, sir.
Yeah, no, it was a blast. I did get a little bit damaged. I didn't even think it was that bad. Honestly, I just felt a real small tap. But yeah, I guess I had no bumper, I was told, and I kind of just kept the nose tucked in and just tried to hold on till the end so I get a fast repair.
Yeah, and you certainly did exactly that. What was it like trying to keep this car under control here tonight with as many people as there were around?
Definitely tires played a factor, I think. There were some people coming off the inside trying to hold that inside, and anytime you do that, you'd really back up that inside line. And it seemed like as the run went on and as people were on different sets of tires, that outside lane really started moving.
We head to Auto Club next week. What are your thoughts going back into the next gen car and to Auto Club?
I might have to put in some laps, definitely to get rid of some of the touchy steering, get used to that on the next gen car. But Auto Club is a fun track, and I think that'll put on a good show for everybody.
All right, anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Just the Awesome Shop Discord and all the homies. That's it.
All right, bud. Michael Accord, your third place finisher tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
And so with that, Michael, another race down. Well, first race of the season down. And Auto Club next week, I'm sure, is going to be one heck of a show.
Yeah, I agree. These guys started off the season pretty well, and they hopefully we can keep the momentum rolling, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is going to be quite a fun race next week, getting back in the next gen cars and seeing what they can do around that fast, wide racetrack in Fontana, California. But right now, we'll take a look at the final results here for tonight's race. Derek Gilray, first win in the SCL series. Congratulations to him. Todd Merkel, Michael Accord rounding out the podium. Zachary Archer and Maxwell Caldwell coming home in the top 5. Barrett Flo, Tillman Hoyer, Dustin Maggard, Matthew Fanuff, and Josh Tarrant Hill, your top 10. Justin Sorrell, Andrew McKenzie, Joshua Yarborough, Lee Campbell, Trevor Dalton, your top 15. David Hanna, Chris Vanderplatz, Mike Peters, Michael Matta, and Chris Myers rounding out the top 20. Braxton DeWeese, Michael Caffrey, Matthew McMeekin, Daniel Cruz, Jack Karst, your top 25. Eric Schausch, Justin Lewis, Eddie Hadji, Tom Stevens, and Daryl Redford, your top 30. Simon and Tommy Carignan in 31st and 32nd. Joshua Dubé, Andrew Miller, Greg Birch, your top 35. William Mann, Mark Brown, Austin Call, Joe Owen, Ryan Farrell, Chelsea Davis, Adam Lowe, and Benjamin Richards rounding out your field here tonight. So for my broadcast partner, Michael Self, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you all next week from Auto Club. Good night, everybody.